If you're a racing game fan who's not into sim racing, then this video is for you. Here's 21 games ARC is looking forward to in 2026. Expect to get your hands on each of these games in some form or another this year. Most have a full 2026 release on the cards, but a handful are or will be in Steam Early Access or will hit in demo form for all of us to try out. From cars to bikes to anti-gravity racing, there's a lot to look forward to. A big thank you goes out to all the amazing devs out there who provided me with footage for inclusion here. If I didn't get a reply, I've lifted their videos directly from their YouTube channels or I've captured the gameplay myself. Links to all games and developer socials are below in the description. So, are we getting hyped? I know I am, so let's get on with it. Screamer 2026 is a reboot of a classic PC racing series, and if you want to catch up on its history and games, I've done a video on it, link on your screen now. And although this new Screamer game seems to bear little resemblance to the games of old, I think it's a fantastic addition to a lineup of games that had a penchant for reinvention. I think I'm most excited to try out the almost unique twin-stick drifting control method, but there seems to be a lot of meat on the bones of Screamer, from an extensive single-player anime story mode to local and online multiplayer options. I'm itching to dive into this one. Fatal Run 2089 is a modern take on Atari's old racer Fatal Run that released for the Atari 2600, one of the last games released for that system, and the 7800 all the way back in 1990. This new title is a post-apocalyptic combat racer that has you racing against the clock, destroying all opponents that you come across. The game will feature 20 levels with branching paths, shortcuts, and has a heavy focus on drifting. I think it's looking pretty damn cool myself. There's not a lot of information on the game, and it's already slipped from a 2025 release to a tentative 2026 one. It does seem rather story heavy though, so if you're after a single player combat racer, then Fatal Run 2089 may be one to keep your eye on. Kaido Genkai is a frankly stunning anime open-world car PG that looks to pay homage to classics. The fictional 90s Japanese countryside setting is sunny, vibrant and lush, and looks to feature a lot to do. Along with exploring the maps for secrets, jumps and shortcuts, there are many race events to complete, 19 cars with different variations, and a storyline to follow with rivals and all. I love these kinds of races with role-playing progression elements, so Kaido Genkai is definitely one of my most anticipated races. The only catch is that it's likely that this one won't make 2026, but you will be able to get your hands on a demo this year, so keep a watch for that. I personally cannot wait for it. Driftline Peaks is a brilliant PS1 style Toge racer that takes a lot of inspiration from Cave's Toge Max series, which featured, funnily enough, on the PS1. There's a demo available for the game on itch.io right now if you're curious. I've played it a fair bit and I came away suitably impressed. The aesthetic is definitely on point, and the controls, while still in development, are being refined all the time. Currently, there's 3 stages to play with day and night variations, 13 cars to choose from and unlock, and although there's only time trials at the minute, versus CPU races and traffic challenges are in the works. Give the demo a shot if you're hankering for some retro racing action. SPGP Super Polygon Grand Prix is a game that takes inspiration from many Sega arcade racing games of old, but really takes the concept and runs with it. It's in Steam Early Access right now, with a huge amount of content already in the game. SPGP has 5 vehicle classes with 75 variations, and I've literally lost count of how many tracks are now in the game. I've covered SPGP a couple of times before, and it's been amazing watching the progress of the game over the last while. We've got the arcade mode, championship mode and online leaderboards here already, but more modes are also coming to the full release. As far as I'm concerned, SPGP sits right at the top of my most wanted races of the year. I've put about 30 hours into the early access alone, so check it out. I think it's pretty clear what the inspiration for Lead the Dragon is. We're only able to go on a few things right now, a trailer and some gameplay, but this Need for Speed style open world racer seems to feature all of the things we love about that particular kind of Need for Speed game. It features cop on racer action, a respect system, and of course winning cash to buy cars and upgrades. Lead the Dragon is also seemingly loaded with modes and has point-to-point races, drift and distance-based events, and time trials. The camera in the trailer is kind of crazy, but it seems to have been reined in a bit when it comes to the latest gameplay progress videos. With style to spare and a great sense of speed, if development keeps up with the ambition on display, Lead the Dragon could be something rather special come Q4 2026. It's hard to pinpoint a particular game that Race Jam draws its inspiration from, because it seems to do its own thing. There's a level of strategy in the gameplay here that's not often seen. The charge boost system sees you managing your health on the fly. Drifting and tricking accrues boost, and boost draws from your health pool. To refill your health, you need to do it as you race, but doing so will slow you down a bit. Race Jam is in early access at the moment. There's a demo for you to try out, however, so you can check out all the awesome 90s inspired tracks and vibes there yourself. There's much more in the full game, with a mission mode, roguelike mode and more. The vehicle selection is awesome, and you can add buffs to them for some customization. Do yourself a favour and check it out if you dig the look of it. Pico Drift is a super neat racer aiming to fuse the open world Need for Speed stylings with creative sandbox elements. Customize your ride, cruise around the city district taking on races and challenges, then get creative. You're not limited to the map as is. Go nuts with editing the map and create your own slice of drifting heaven. Cops enter the equation too. And I think cruising around on your own creation evading cops sounds pretty phenomenal myself. And it's a lot of fun with some great controls and challenges. I'm eagerly awaiting the full game and can't wait to dive deep into the creative side of things. OVERCRASH is a high-octane arcade racer with definite shades of Burnout. You want destruction, you've got it. Race on highways, causing mayhem and chaos, and chain together combos by crashing into literally everything. Traffic, streetlights, it's all fair game in the traffic jam mode. Want to avoid things instead? Try rush hour mode, where you've got to make it through the checkpoints and within a time limit, but you'll have to dodge traffic that seems to have it out for you. It's all rather spectacular, I reckon, with a killer aesthetic and some neat controls. The game is down for a 2026 release, provided everything goes well with the Steam demo release later on this year. There is, however, an alpha demo available right now on itch.io if you want to give the game a shot yourself. Superpower Racing has been in Steam Early Access for a little while now, and is a fast and frenetic top-down racer that looks inspired by all of the classics. It does, however, place a heavy emphasis on the action. The sense of speed is top-notch, the controls are nice and drifty, and there's multiple modes to enjoy even now. You've got your standard racing events, power races, which add weapons into the mix, and a time bomb mode, which sees you trying to make the checkpoints with a bomb attached to your car. There's a demo for this one available if you want to give it a shot, and I recommend that you do, because it's insanely fun stuff. I really love the destructible elements on the track. It adds a real sense of dynamism to play. Superpower Racing is coming along swimmingly and should see a full release this year, but don't hesitate to check out that demo now and the early access if you feel so inclined. Micro Overdrive Home Tour is yet another charming top-down racer, this time in a single-screen format. It pays homage to not only the classic Micro Machine games, but also classic arcade races like Super Sprint. The controls are nice and tight, each track is full of hazards to avoid and be aware of, and the art style is super cute. Races with your toy cars are quick, with laps flying past in seconds, and there's 4 speed classes to master. The Steam demo, which is available to play right now, features a beginner cup consisting of 3 tracks to race on. It's brief, but definitely fun, and enough game just to whet the appetite for more. Micro Overdrive Home Tour isn't too far off, so keep an eye out for it. BeaterCore lays it all out on the line with the title alone. This game focuses on old beater cars over fancy schmancy supercars, and not only do you race them, you buy, upgrade and repair them as you go to create your dream beater machine. It might sound daunting, but having played the available demo, I found the repairs and upgrades pleasantly arcade-like. Which goes for the racing too. The game is still under development, so it needs a bit of work, but I found the gameplay loop super engaging, and the actual racing is fun enough and indeed quite promising. BeaterCore is a quirky little racer that looks to scratch a certain itch, so try the demo out for yourself and see if it's your thing. I'll keep this one brief since I covered it in my last video. Link on your screen now. But I can't lie, Pretend Cars Racing 2 is in my top 20 races I'm most looking forward to this year. Do yourself a solid and check out the demo, it's divine. Project TurboBlast is a high-octane racer inspired by F-Zero and Initial D. What it's not is an anti-gravity racer. It features a mix of cars and bikes, with a heavy focus on characters, drifting, boosting and jump tricks. This one was successfully kickstarted in November 2025, and rightly so. The sense of speed here is absolutely intense, and the controls are pretty excellent already. I personally found them a little touchy in the demo, but I know they continue to be refined. Project TurboBlast is slick, stylish, and making fantastic progress, and the impressive Steam demo is still available for you to play right now. Are you a fan of Road Rash, specifically Road Rash 32-bit? Well, Bash Moto looks to fill the exact void the 3DO, Sega Saturn, PlayStation and PC title left behind. That game is still bike combat racing at its very best, and Bash Moto follows suit. We're talking schmoozing, cops, the bike shop and all the rest. The art style is looking great. It may not be for everybody, with a significantly lighter colour palette than the grungier one contained in most Road Rash games, but man, does it seem to capture the essence of the classic series more than any of the 3D follow-ups ever did. It's got the speed, killer combat, and those awesome distorted portrait styles. I'm all in. Hangin Off by Skids, the creator of Turbo Outrun Imagined, is at it again. But this time we're getting a full-blown spiritual successor to the Hang On games. But this is no mere clone. Hangin Off feels like the next evolution of Hang On, and I'm totally here for it. Earlier builds showcased placeholder art, but it was enough to get a real good feel for the fantastic new viewpoint, sense of speed and new power sliding mechanics. The final game features pixel art that is seriously next level. Honestly, this is another right at the top of my most wanted list. It looks like an amazing evolution of superscaler style racing, and I cannot wait to try it out myself. Super Knight Riders S1 is a fantastic looking follow-up to Super Knight Riders, another game that holds the Hang On games close to the heart. Super Knight Riders S1 is a full remake of the first game with improved graphics and gameplay, the original 36 courses along with another 36 that are entirely brand new, and in a first for the series, it will also feature cars. I'm a big fan of the original, so it makes me especially happy to see that my very few criticisms of it are looking to be addressed. The variety in the new scenery is looking excellent and is a welcome improvement, and control is looking bang on. I didn't think there was much room for improvement on that front, but here we are. RogueBike GP, or is it Superbike GP 2D, is an interesting top-down bike racing game with phenomenal controls. The Steam demo, which is currently still available, doesn't give much away when it comes to the planned roguelike elements, but from the description on the store page, we can expect team building, upgrades, and all the rest to tie into the roguelike structure, which I'm not usually a fan of, but man, does this play well or what? You can get a taste of the asynchronous online multiplayer right now, but on the way also is 8-player co-op, online and local. This one is flying under the radar for whatever reason, maybe because it has 2 names, but I've been enjoying RogueBike GP for a while now. It's challenging, handles like an absolute dream, and I simply cannot wait for the full release. Give it a spin, you won't regret it.
Why not take part in a friendly exhibition race?
I'm a fan of Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and less so of the follow-up Racer's Revenge. It remains to be seen if Star Wars Galactic Racer will fall foul of the same grievances we're used to with AAA games, like season passes, being overpriced at launch, etc. But as long as the game is good, I think I may be able to handle some of that, since it's rare for me to covet any kind of AAA release these days. The gameplay seems quite nice so far, the controls look tight enough, and there seems to be a greater variety of vehicles to play that is featured in previous Star Wars racing games. And graphically, the pre-alpha footage is very impressive. I'll be playing this one on either my Ally X or the Switch 2, but look out for it on basically whatever you are playing. It's got all the major platforms covered. I'm cautiously optimistic about Star Wars Galactic Racer, at least going on what we've been shown so far. AGX GP is a gorgeous anti-gravity racer that looks to take inspiration from all our favourite AG racers. Wipeout, F-Zero, you can see them all in this one. What's interesting, however, is that it's looking to incorporate some of those speedrunning elements from games like Neon White and Ghost Runner, which is definitely a combo that has me intrigued. 7 game modes, 5 vehicle abilities with deep customization, 125-ish challenges, and around 25 courses await. All of this is playable on a Steam Deck at 60 frames per second, all the way through to hardware that can support the 4K 120 FPS Lux settings. I cannot wait for this one. Hypersonic GP wears its inspiration on its sleeve. This seems to be F-Zero GX style racing done absolutely right. It doesn't seem to be a mere clone either. There will be an emphasis on multiple risk-reward mechanics, like managing G-forces, low HP, your afterburner, and making sure your pilot doesn't overextend themselves or leave themselves open to lethal attacks. The aesthetics and audio are absolutely on point. It's hard not to notice the retro flair, but it's handled in a modern fashion. I've been told by the dev that Hypersonic GP is already running at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck at native resolution, so it should scale quite well to different hardware. Local multiplayer is also on the cards. Keep an eye out for the demo this year before release. So there we have it, 20 games aiming for a 2026 release to get pumped for. It's going to be a killer year for non-sim racing, and I hope you're on board and dig the selection here. Did any of these strike a chord with you? Let me know in the comments below. This video is possible in part thanks to my amazing ARC supporters. A special shout out to ARC Super Supporter No More Mercy. All of you are absolute stars, and I thank you for your continued support. And if you're liking all the arcade racing goodness, like, subscribe, share, and tap the notification bell for more. Perhaps consider becoming an ARC supporter yourself. Perks for supporters are in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.